In Hermosa Beach right now, the single family market just posted a median price drop of nearly 60% year over year, while the condo market just next door jumped almost 40%. If you just scan the headlines, you might think the housing market here has simultaneously collapsed and exploded. But if you are planning to sell in the next 3 to 6 months, you cannot afford to guess which one of those realities is actually yours. Selling into this version of the Hermosa Beach market can mean a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally 6 figures either way, depending on whether you understand what is distorting the data. I'm going to show you why one number is a statistical mirage, why the other one is real, and how to navigate a market that has only 14 houses for sale in the entire city. By the end of this video, you will know exactly whether it makes more sense to sell your specific home type now or hold given what is actually happening beneath the wild numbers. If you're thinking about selling in the next 3 to 6 months, you are facing a very specific window of opportunity. You are balancing today's extreme scarcity, where we have almost no inventory, against a spring market that might bring more competition and a confusing headline environment that might scare your buyers. We also have to talk about the wild card of the new Skechers construction timeline and the recent sale of the Strand and Pier portfolio, because those two things are changing the value map of our city in real time. This is about deciding whether you want to be the only game in town right now or risk getting lost in the noise later this year. Walking down Pier Avenue or driving past the cranes on Sepulveda, you can feel the tension between the construction chaos and the quiet, high-value streets of the sand section. It feels like two different cities, and the data confirms that split. We have what I call the statistical mirage in the single-family market and the value engine running hot in the condo sector. These aren't just cute names. They are the two distinct lanes that will determine your pricing strategy and your days on market. Let's look at the foundation of everything: scarcity. In December 2025, Hermosa Beach had just 1.9 months of supply for single family homes and 2.2 months for condos. To define that for you, months of inventory measures how long it would take to sell every home on the market if no new ones were listed. Anything under 3 months is a seller's market. But here is the number that matters more. We ended December with only 14 active single family listings in the entire city. That is down 48% from last year. We are operating at half capacity. The floor under your price is solid simply because there is almost nothing else to buy. I have homeowners just like you reaching out every week trying to figure out if they missed the peak or if the scarcity is their safety net. If you want that same clarity for your specific address, I use a tool called HomeBot to help my clients monitor this. Think of it as a monthly financial dashboard for your home. It tracks your estimated equity, your mortgage options, and your buying power based on real-time rates. It doesn't replace a strategic CMA because no algorithm can see your view or your upgrades, but it is the best way to keep a pulse on your position until you are ready for that deeper conversation. You can get plugged into that using the link in the description. I'm Hernandez, your real estate advisor here in Hermosa Beach, California. My job isn't just to sell homes. It is to build a flight plan for your equity. Citywide averages are dangerous shortcuts in a market this small. Your home lives in a specific lane, and applying a generic Hermosa is down headline to a sand section townhome is a fast way to lose money. I'm here to give you the precision you need. Here is the roadmap for the next couple of minutes. I'm going to show you exactly why the single family crash is a myth and where the speed is really hiding. We will look at the condo surge that is defying gravity, and we will break down how the new interest rate cuts and the builder's remedy resolution are shaping your 2026. Let's start with the most confusing part of the market, the single family sector, where the numbers look terrifying on paper but tell a different story on the ground. In December 2025, the median sales price for a single family home in Hermosa Beach was $1,927,500 compared to December 2024, when the median was over $4.7 million. That looks like a drop of 59%. At the same time, these homes are selling in a median of just 10 days, with sellers getting 99.4% of their list price. In plain English, that means the market hasn't crashed. The mix has shifted. We call this a mix shift. Last year, we saw ultra luxury strand and sand section homes closing, which pulled the median up. This December, with only 6 closed sales, the activity was concentrated in smaller inland or fixer properties, likely in the Hermosa Hermosa Hills or Valley sections. The luxury homes didn't lose value, they just didn't trade hands. But because the volume is so low, the median dropped like a stone. What that really means for you if you sell is that you are entering a market that is incredibly fast but highly sensitive to product type. A median of just 10 days on market is lightning quick. Buyers are starved for inventory, but they are only pulling the trigger on homes that feel like a value play or are priced sharply for their condition. If you're a homeowner of a single family home in Hermosa, you might be wondering, do I need to price my home drastically lower because the median dropped so much? Based on the 99.4% sell to list price ratio and that 10-day speed, the answer is no. You do not price based on the citywide median. You price based on the scarcity of your specific product. If the market is behaving like this, fast sales but lower headline prices, then your safest posture is one of precision preparation. Let's look at your options based on the data. If your goal is a clean, fast exit, you price exactly at the most recent comparable sale in your micro neighborhood, ignoring the citywide drop, and ensure the home is cosmetically perfect. The 10-day market speed shows buyers will pounce, but only if they see value. If your goal is to push the price, you can try to test the market, but you must watch the clock. If you are not in escrow by day 21, you are defying the data and you risk getting stigmatized. The right move depends on whether your home is a turnkey sand section property or a value fixer, which is where a one-on-one strategy conversation matters most. If you're buying a single family home in Hermosa, you might be asking, is this the crash I've been waiting for and can I lowball sellers? The 10 days on market tells us that lowballing is a dangerous strategy for quality homes. The crash is a statistical artifact, not a value collapse. If you are seeing a home listed, your decision rule is simple. Check the speed. If the home is fresh under 10 days, you need to move decisively because you are competing against scarcity. If the home has been sitting for 45 days or more, that is your leverage point. Those sellers are likely reading the same scary headlines and might be feeling the pressure of the mix shift narrative. That is where you negotiate. But be careful. Waiting for a true crash in a city with only 14 active listings is a high-risk gamble. Now let's pivot to where the real heat is, the condo and townhome market. While single-family headlines look bleak, the condo market is surging. In December 2025, the median price for condos and townhomes hit $2,820,000. That is an increase of nearly 39% year over year. These units are selling in a median of 22 days and are closing at exactly 100% of their list price. Said simply, the townhome on the sand has become the dominant high-value product right now. We are seeing large 2,000 plus square foot townhomes trading for nearly $3 million, which is pulling the condo median above the single family median. Buyers who want the beach lifestyle but don't want the maintenance of an older cottage are flocking to this sector. What that really means for you if you sell is that you have the hot hand. Buyers in this segment are confident, they are paying full price, and they are prioritizing lifestyle over land value. If you're an owner of a condo or a townhome in Hermosa, you might be worrying, did I miss the peak? The data says absolutely not. With prices up nearly 40% and units selling at 100% of list, you are in the driver's seat. If your unit is a larger, well-located townhome, your posture should be confident pricing. Let's look at your options. If you prioritize maximizing every dollar, you can push the price slightly above the last comparable sale, especially if you have a view or a prime location, because inventory is sitting at just 11 units citywide. If you want speed, price at market value, and you should expect offers within 3 weeks. The boundary here is condition. Buyers paying $3 million for a townhome expect perfection. If your unit is dated, you lose that leverage. If you're buying a condo or a townhome, you might be wondering, am I overpaying if I buy right now? You are certainly paying a premium compared to last year, but you are buying into the most stable asset class in the city right now. If you're looking in this segment, your posture needs to be patient but ready. With 22 days on market, you have a little more breathing room than the single family buyers, but not by much. If you see a unit you love, verify the HOA health and the reserves, but do not expect a discount. The data shows sellers are getting their number. Your opportunity lies in finding the mispriced units that have drifted past the 30-day mark. That is where the negotiation room lives. Now let's talk about the third layer of this market, location and development. We have two massive factors changing the map. First, the Strand and Pier portfolio just sold for $33.5 million, and the new owners have shelved the massive hotel plan in favor of cultivating the existing space. Second, the Skechers expansion on Sepulveda and PCH is in full swing with lane closures and construction scheduled through late 2026. What that really means for you if you sell is that location is more than just distance to water right now, it is distance to disruption. If you're an owner near the PCH corridor, you might be asking, will the construction traffic kill my sale? It won't kill it, but it will likely impact how buyers perceive the value right now. If you're on a street like Duncan, your posture is radical transparency. You have a few strategic options here. If you need to sell now, the data suggests that pricing to acknowledge the temporary nuisance can help to find a buyer who is willing to look past the friction for a fair deal. If your timeline allows, your other path is to wait until late 2026 when the project completes and the street appeal returns to normal. If you're selling downtown near the Pier, you have a new selling point. The threat of a decade of hotel construction is gone. Sell that stability. If you're buying, this is where you might find an arbitrage opportunity. If you can stomach 12 to 18 months of traffic on Sepulveda, you may be able to negotiate a price that reflects that current reality. Once those cranes come down and the new campus opens, that temporary inconvenience could translate into long-term value. So before we move on, let's look at the scoreboard. In the single family lane, we have a medium price mirage, masking a lightning fast 10-day market for affordable homes. In the condo lane, we have a nearly 40% price surge driven by high-end townhomes selling at full price. In the development lane, we have a stability win downtown and a possible construction discount opportunity on PCH. If you're an owner in the single family market, you need to price for speed, not the headline. If you are an owner in the condo market, you are holding the ace card. If you're an owner near construction, you need a strategy to handle the objection before the buyer even drives up. This is a lot of moving parts. If you want to know which of these lanes your home actually falls into, I invite you to get plugged into HomeBot or book a quick 15-minute strategy call using the link in the description. That's the neighborhood math. Now let's talk about the forces you won't see on a comparative market analysis, the macro drivers that are reshaping the money in your buyer's pocket. We need to talk about rates, the Fed, and the lock-in effect. First, let's look at the cost of money. In December 2025, the Federal Reserve cut the federal funds rate again, bringing the target range down to 3.5% to 3.75%. Second, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has stabilized around 6.16%. Third, and most importantly, pending sales in the West region surged 9.2% in November. In plain English, that means the wait-and-see era is ending. Buyers are waking up. The rate cut didn't just lower payments, it signaled that the worst is over. What that really means for you if you sell is that the buyer pool is expanding. That 9% jump in pending sales tells us that demand is highly elastic. As soon as rates dipped, buyers came off the sidelines. You are no longer selling into a frozen market, you're selling into a waking one. Now let's look at affordability and inventory flow. The Housing Affordability Index climbed to 106.2, meaning the average family is mathematically more qualified to buy than they were a year ago. Crucially, inventory in the West region is up 14.3% year over year. This tells us the lock-in effect is finally eroding. Homeowners who were clinging to their 3% rates are finally moving because life events, kids, marriage, jobs, they all can't be put on hold forever. What this changes for you if you sell is competition. Right now, you have scarcity with only 14 homes, but that regional inventory jump suggests that more sellers are coming. If you list in the next 3 to 6 months, you are front running that wave. If you wait, however, you might face more competition on the street even if rates are slightly lower. Now I have a question for you and I want you to drop it in the comments below or just think about it. Are you more worried about selling too early and missing a price jump or selling too late and facing a flood of competition? Your answer matters because the structural changes happening in Hermosa right now hit those two fears very differently. Let's talk about one of those structural changes, the builder's remedy and local zoning. We have had scarcity as our baseline, but recently we had a scare with a project at 3415 Palm Drive that used state laws to bypass local zoning. Here's the reality on the ground. First, the trigger. Hermosa Beach was briefly out of compliance with state housing laws, which opened the door for developers to propose projects that ignored the height and density limits. Second, the fix. As of August 2024, the city received full certification for its housing elements. Third, the result. The door is closed. The Palm Drive project was scaled back from 5 units to 4, and the threat of price high rises popping up next door has been neutralized. What this means for you if you sell is certainty. Buyers hate risk. A year ago, they might have worried that a 4-story complex would block their view. Now we can tell them with confidence that local zoning control is back. If you own in a dense neighborhood, your air rights and your view corridors are safer today than they were last year. That is a tangible value add for a buyer in 2026. So here's the central conflict of the 2026 market. It is a battle between scarcity and optics. We have historically low inventory, only 14 single-family homes, fighting against the headline narrative that says prices are down 60%. The conflict is that doing nothing is still a decision. If you wait, you might see lower rates, but you will almost certainly see more competition from other sellers who are also waking up. So how do you play your cards in this market? If you're looking at a move in the next 3 to 6 months, you have a distinct first mover advantage right now. By working with a strategic advisor, you avoid the trap of pricing based on the Mirage median, and you avoid the risk of getting lost in the spring inventory flood. What you gain is a clean exit in a market that is starving for quality product. I'm not here to tell you to sell. I'm here to make sure future you is glad you handled it the way you did. And if you want to see the flight plan for your specific property, click the link below to schedule a one-on-one strategy session or connect with HomeBot. No pressure, just data. I'm Hernandez. Let's navigate this market together.